Hello everyone, thank you so much for staying tuned. My name is Josh and you're watching C3S Garage. A few days ago, I found myself driving in the freeway. I was actually going from Houston to Dallas, which is about a 3 hour and a half drive. Well, if it's a Tesla, taking consideration charges and whatnot, couple stops, it was like 10 hours. And while I was driving, I was going highway speed. And when I came to a full stop, I noticed that my seat became a rocking chair, which was a bit alarming. Nothing too crazy, but I just felt a little bit of a shake in the part where my back rests. I started getting a little bit curious about it and decided to give a second look at the moment I got home. I decided to go ahead and inspect the bottom portion of the seat, and I did notice that the seat was rocking a little bit. This was where the rails for the seat come into place with the actual seat, and decided to go ahead and schedule a Tesla service appointment. So far so good. Service appointment asked me to send them a video of what was happening, which I sent them this exact video right here. And when they got back to me, they sent me a notification for a cost to repair for $150. Now, I don't see this being a huge problem as long as the seat is in perfect condition, but I figure I want to know what's going on and I want them to look at what's going on. So I figure I would not accept anything until the moment that I went into the Tesla service center. And I gotta tell you guys, one thing that I noticed was how pretty and clean everything is. Two, how there's pretty much no one. I don't know if this has to do a lot with the politics for Tesla right now or the situations with the CEO. Don't know what the cause might be, but there was just not a single person aside from one other customer that arrived a couple of minutes earlier than we did. The cool thing is that you have your showroom, you also have your kind of waiting area, and then you have your service centers where you can kind of see everything that goes on with every car that shows up at Tesla, which I thought it was really cool. The fact that there's a full factory and parts for the car right on the spot is such a cool thing because that means that they can get you in and out a lot faster than any other dealership. Also, because there was just not a lot of people, I think this helped a lot as well. When I got to the appointment, the front desk lady mentioned that there would be someone that would be driving the car with me as a passenger, and that way we can kind of see what the issue is. While we were driving, the technician did notice that the seat was moving back and forth just a tiny bit. We started looking into it. He said, yeah, I do feel like a little bit of a rocking here and there. It might be that the seat is not latching correctly to the rails of your car. So he's like, if this is the case, we have to unmount the seat, reattach everything together, mount the seat back, and then you won't have this issue present. Other thing that we can do, which was pretty interesting to see, he said, we're gonna go ahead and do a seat recalibration, which I had no clue this was a thing. Well, apparently there's a part in the menu where you can recalibrate your seat to its settings. So it pretty much cleans out any debris. It moves the seat around. It cleans any debris that might be cut up on the rails, and it sets the position for you to kind of sit again and kind of recalibrates everything, not just your seat, your steering wheel, your side mirrors, and pretty much everything else that goes on with those things. So I thought I was extremely interested. He did the recalibration and mentioned that it would be better if someone was not sitting on the driver's seat to make sure that the calibration was correctly done. So we proceeded to do that, and we could still feel the seat rocking back and forth. So he went ahead and got his toolkit and kind of did a recalibration of all the screws that are attached to the main frame of the car, as well as gave a quick checkup to the seat rails and make sure that there was no debris, no snacks, or any type of stuff in between those two, and then proceeded to pretty much spray everything with grease again. He did mention that after this, just to drive it home and then do the recalibration back at home once again. So this would be the second time that I would do it. I went ahead and did it, and it did make the problem kind of almost non-existent. I do feel a slight give in between, but there's nothing that you can do. But as far as recalibrating the seat, it actually fixed the problem a lot more. I also went ahead and readjusted my settings to make sure that everything's latched correctly, and it actually improved on the positioning that I had it, and it made the seat feel a lot more sturdy. So the problem is no longer existing. I also want to point out that I did see a ton of videos on YouTube with guys having the same exact issue and putting a small piece of wood in between the rail and the seat. And I will tell you guys right now that although this might fix that issue, I don't see this as the problem solver that you want, because this is a delicate situation with your seat. This is pretty much what holds you in place in case of an accident. And if you have a tiny piece of wood kind of jiggling and kind of messing in between the rails that hold your seat to the main frame of the car, then I just don't see how this could be a good solution for this problem. Aside from this, the technician cleared out pretty much everything that the car had, checked out the TPMS sensors, checked out the tire inflation, checked everything on the car, and make sure that everything was correct. It literally took me 45 minutes from the moment I got there to the moment I left, which I think was incredible for a car service appointment. With that being said, I did feel a relief when I had one of the technicians see the car and tell me some of the issues that may happen with the car. I also want to point out that they did quote me at $157 because my car is currently out of warranty, which is the case with many of us right now. However, because they did not find any particular issues with the car and they didn't need any extensive repairs to the car, they were able to cover that under a quote-unquote warranty. So I was not charged anything for this particular service. I also want to give you guys brief information on some of the issues and problems that Teslas present and are within the Tesla ecosystem, and some of these things that you can do to fix them yourself before taking it to a technician and going through the whole process. With that being said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to stay tuned, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.